Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to 100 to 1 podcast. Myself, DJ Rex. Who else we got in the building?
Your boy Nams, Arsenal through and through.
We've got Mr. Rose from the red side of Manchester, but I am the blue badge king.
Yeah, cool. Let's roll on. It's been a minute, but we're back with a bang. Let's start with how you've been getting on for the last couple of weeks, Rose. I know you hit the belly, so let's talk.
Yeah, I can't lie. It was a good weekend last weekend, and we're hoping for another good one this weekend. Ended up making about $2,500, 2,400 to be specific. It's tinged with a little bit of disappointment because I feel like I could have done better with a bit better tactics. Because ultimately, one of the bets won outright. I had two bets basically that were both. I think the first 6 out of 7 results came in. And the last game on both bets was a Napoli game, one for Napoli to win outright and the other one for Napoli to win by more than one goal. And Napoli won. So ultimately that one for 3,300 won. The other one for them to win by more than one goal was worth 6.5. So when I was at that point where there was one game to go, I was talking to our silent partner, OG. And basically, I got my strategy wrong because I thought, obviously, I saw the big money and I said I got to cash out one of them and keep one. And if I cashed out the minus one, then I would have taken that what you showed earlier, which was 1,600. That was what it offered me. I'm taking that 1,600.
Left the one in play.
Yeah,
left the other one in play. So really, with a better strategy, I should have won like 5K.
So this is the one. So this is the 7th.
This is the one that I cashed out instead, and this obviously, as you can see, all 7 selections won. So that should have been 3,300 from that.
Okay. You cashed it early.
I cashed that one out because obviously the other one was worth 6.5, and I thought, well, if Napoli can win by 1, they could win by 2. So let me keep that one in play because that's a potential bigger reward. So, that one as well. That Sarajevo one. That was the one that the one that you just posted just now, not that one. But so this is the other one basically. So this was Napoli to win by more than one goal. So I think in like the 82nd minute, it was 1-0 to Napoli, and I just cashed it out because I just thought that would fall. You're hoping for a last minute goal. It's like, you know what, take $1,000 and take that. But when I think about it, although I have some regrets, I have no regrets. Obviously, I have regrets because of hindsight, but I'll do the same thing again. In reality, to back Napoli to win by more than one goal, they won by one goal. Obviously, what does it take for them to have been 2-0 up instead of 1-0 up? If they were 2-0 up, then I'll be looking at 6.5K. So I feel like you have to play for that.
100%. Quick question: were you actually watching the game?
Eventually, Man United were playing at the same time, so I watched it, and I wasn't paying attention to the scores as well. OG was because we built the second slip, so Napoli was in his slip. He said, he's going to watch that game. I actually didn't know what was happening in that game until about the 60th minute.
Okay.
I didn't even know what the score was. I just didn't. I left my phone. I just thought, look, there's no point because it's in the first half. If Napoli are winning or if they're losing, it's probably over. If I'm going to get back onto it at 60 minutes, then that's probably a good time for me to then assess the situation anyway.
Sure.
So yeah, that one that you just posted there was what I did afterwards. So not afterwards, but after my cash out. So Napoli hadn't kicked off yet. So I was on the phone to OG and we did this one. And obviously this one would have been worth about 5 and a bit. And as you can see, it's 3-0 to Sarajevo in the 90th minute. That -2 is done. Porto have ruined it.
So Porto.
So in the end, Paranense, I believe Bahia equalized in like the 93rd minute. But obviously at this stage, if Porto was in the bag, then everything else would have been green. I would have had a few more grand, definitely. And Porto lost.
So a decent week of not just wins, but wins and some close calls as well. So that's good.
Yeah,
I guess
it was even the other close call as well. Like, with the slip where, Spurs. I had 2 of them. I had Spurs to win, which I think was what was that? Was that 3-1 or 13 no, it might be even 13-2. So effectively 6.5 to 1 for Spurs to win at the Etihad. And then I went also another one with Spurs -1, and that was 20 to 1 on the slip. And that was ruined by Galatasaray. I had them -2. And they only won 1-0, And as has been infamously seen across the globe, Ziyech missed an incredible sitter, and that cost me.
I couldn't believe it, brother. I was just on Twitter and I saw it. I said, I don't want to send it to Rose, but at some stage,
I'd prefer not to see that. Personally,
it's better it comes from me, brother. It's better it comes from a loved one, brother. Rather than see it from someone else. 'Cause when I saw that, brother, I couldn't believe it, brother. I'm thinking, this is what like, what do you do against this? Like, they don't make no sense.
Exactly.
It don't make no sense, bro. No sense.
No, for sure.
All,
it's always the game away as well, literally.
always.
I just want to say that overall, I think obviously we're approaching the halfway point of the season. I have my formula. I've had smaller wins along the way, and I think that this is definitely the lane that I'm going to stick in, just the handicaps, and that's something that we will need to break down in more detail on our Patreon when we give people like the process behind these bets.
No, I hear it. Nams, how you been getting on though?
Yeah, just shots, fouls. The fouls have been getting close somewhat. I'm always one away here and there, but to be honest with you, I feel like I've got a good reign of the games and the teams that I mess with now. Like there's a few teams that I always get it wrong, and I'm just gonna avoid them now. So I looked at the weekend. It's funny because the teams that I struggle with, they're all playing each other this week when it comes to fouls. So like Brentford and who playing? Brentford and Leicester. I can never find who are the right guys. I always get it wrong with those two. And then Ipswich and Nottingham Forest, they play each other as well. But the rest of the games starting from today, Brighton against Southampton. You got Chelsea Villa on Sunday. I think there's some good games this weekend. So yeah, I'm gonna keep on plugging away the shots and the fouls, like man. But I'm confident I'll get something before Christmas, man. I'm sure there's a it could be a brown envelope, but I think it could be champagne instead, like man. So I ain't flinching, bro.
I'm still open for another envelope.
No, okay, cool. With that said, let's roll on to this week's topic.
So yeah, I think once again in the week of football, I think managers dominate the headlines. Starting from Ruben Amorim at Manchester United. We spoke before we went on air about Lopetegui. I would say probably saved his job at St James's Park. But obviously also Ruud van Nistelrooy back in the Premier League with Leicester City. But obviously only one place to start, and that is with the proclaimed. In fact, before I go there, credit as well on the list to Arne Slot for continuing his excellent start to his Liverpool career. Somewhat fortunately at St Mary's last weekend, I might say. But when you're winning, I think that you tend to get those things, and when you're not, you don't. But yeah, I think the only place to start though in terms of managers and teams' fortunes has to be in the blue half of Manchester. We're witnessing obviously the proclaimed greatest manager, arguably perhaps. And he's been in a position that he's currently in a position where that he's not been in before in his career, but certainly not in his time in the Premier League. Failed to win in the month of November. Lost 4 on the spin. The 5th one would probably feel like a loss. 3-0 up at home. A team from the Netherlands, and failed to win the game, even though they were leading 3. I can see Nams is still smiling. This is all sounding very musical too. This is like you keep going, bro.
Bro. The thing is, I can't even smile, I can't even enjoy it, bro. Because where are we, bro? We're 9 points behind, bro. Like, so.
But basically, yeah. I mean, their misfortunes have been well documented. I would argue probably not well documented enough, but that's the price that they pay for being Manchester City and not Manchester United. But yeah, they're struggling at the moment. They will point to injuries. I think that's fair to some degree. They are suffering quite significantly from injuries, but it's probably a mixture of problems. So, what's your guys' take on what's happening at the Etihad?
Well, first of all, it's beautiful to see.
Absolutely.
Beautiful to see. But to be honest, it is a bit painful as well, because I feel like Man City have been on the decline now for a couple of seasons, and Arsenal haven't fully capitalized. People will say that Pep won 4 league titles in a row, which is factually correct. But let's be real, like the last 2 league titles, like minimum, one of them should have been Arsenal's, bro. Minimum. When Saliba got that injury, bruv, and we tailed off, bruv, nobody was unforgiving for us, bruv. They didn't care. I should do better. So I think the first thing to say is that Injuries.
I think they should though. In just on that point, I think that because we're talking about injury crisis, we look at what's happening at City. I wouldn't have. I gave them some concession for that, but that wouldn't be the case if it was just the one player. I think Arsenal can't say, "Oh well, Saliba was injured." That's not good enough. I think it's one player, and I think I would also say as well. I don't believe he was playing particularly well at the point where he was injured either. Saliba, he started the season well, but his form was not fantastic. And I think one player with the injury crisis that the likes of United, City currently, Newcastle, other teams have gone through. I don't think Arsenal can get away with saying, "Well,
you know what? Fair point. I agree with that. I don't even. Obviously, losing Saliba was rough, but I feel like the last 2 league titles were. I put down Mikel Arteta personally, but I feel like he made a few technical mistakes, bro. With the
Rob Holding question, sorry. Like I'm looking at Arsenal squad as well. Like what happens? Maybe you got these fullbacks slash centre halves, but I feel like if Saliba got injured again, are you better equipped? I feel like I still don't see it understudied to Saliba.
On paper, we would be, but for whatever reason, this season all our defenders have been getting injured, and we can't rely upon any of them now.
They're all like left-sided or.
So basically, Tomiyasu and Timber can do what Saliba does on paper. They can cover them two in it. So as you can see, Timber's he's an Ajax footballer, bro. He can play in midfield, he can play centre back, right back. He's a gem. So on paper, Timber can cover, Tomiyasu can cover if he can ever stay fit.
Ben White if needed.
Yeah, Ben White as well. Obviously, he's out for now 12 weeks, but on paper now we do have better cover for Saliba. But at the time, we had no cover because Tomiyasu was down again, injured. Yeah, so what happened? We played Rob Holding, who was sold to Crystal Palace and never played a single game for them. They saw him in training, and Roy said, "Nah, I don't want you anywhere near my team." And this is the guy that Mikel Arteta fought war with in the last 6 games, but so of course we didn't win the league. But anyway, so I digress. But I think with Man City, like it's just obviously you're seeing how key a player like Rodri is to the system because right now people just walking through City's midfield. They're literally just walking straight through. And I feel that Pep is also being quite stubborn. Like I feel like when you lose a player like Rodri, something has to adjust. He's playing a high line, he's playing a midfield with no legs, and everyone is just running through them again and again and again. And I think it's a bit of negligence as well. Like City haven't bought good players for the past couple of summers now. Like Doku,
that's a point that is it's an important point that again
they haven't bought well for the last couple of summers.
Well for a while.
No, they're when you're thinking about their forward planning in terms of their squad, because a lot of them are now in their 30s and early 30s. Like they've got quite an old squad. They haven't done good business. Like Mateus Nunez doesn't really get a game, but he's not really
get a game. Grealish has been worse.
He's left wing.
Grealish has been worse than Anthony, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, he ain't gonna get that press, is he? He's not gonna get that sign of
he's not. I mean, City are not anyway because again, there's
no one cares.
Between the 2 clubs ultimately.
No one cares.
He's also an England international. Is about to be December. Tomorrow? A couple of days. He's not scored a goal in 2024. Jack Grealish. It's unacceptable. You spend £100 million on a player. The level of return has been terrible.
He's been poor. I think Jack Grealish has been poor. Doku has been poor. Savino shown flashes. Nunez has been poor.
Not to mention 45 million on Calvin Phillips. That was a disaster.
Calvin Phillips he's in. I don't even know where he is, but he's in
Ipswich.
He's been banished. He's been banished at Ipswich. And if you like him, bruv, Ipswich, they stopped playing him, bruv. They played some next guy, Cajones or something in midfield now, but they even banished him.
Yeah, Cayuste.
Yeah, bruv. So I don't know. I feel like Man City has been a little bit of everything really, like negligence in terms of forward planning the players that they've bought. Pep being stubborn in terms of not adjusting his tactics. However, in saying all of this, we go into the game now on Sunday, and everyone's saying Liverpool gonna whack them. It's gonna be 3-1. But there's a reason we love the beautiful game, bruv. I don't know why. I don't know how Pep's gonna do it, bruv. But something in my gut just says they're gonna do something, bruv. I don't know if it's a draw or if it's gonna win, but I don't think City are gonna lose on Sunday, even though everything overwhelmingly points to Liverpool absolutely smashing them. But I don't know. I think City can do something on Sunday, and I can see Pep going with all the players to the weight and the end of the match. Sky Sports cameras coming up close, and Pep just giving it a big "I ain't done yet" kind of thing. So that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm hoping for. But the way Liverpool are playing,
I mean, the script writers will have it that way, but unfortunately, I can't see that. I can't see that.
I hear it.
I can't see that. I think they're gonna. I think there's only one outcome personally.
He's got to adjust something. for it to go.
He hasn't got the bodies to adjust it. Well, maybe he's got the bodies back because I think the likes of Diaz, Stones are just maybe coming back, Kanji. But I just think defensively, they're nowhere near good enough. And I just think they will not survive at Anfield the way they've been defended, whatever they do going the other way. Because to their credit, they've been incredibly wasteful in this run as well. So what I will say is that in one game, it could be different in the sense of, Haaland decides to take some chances instead of missing them. And then it's like 2-0 up and it's a different game. But the problem is defensively, they're terrible at the moment. And I just think that's the last place you want to go. If you can't defend, you're going to Anfield. I can't see them getting out of there with a result. The midfield is going to get overrun, it's going to get beaten up. Rico Lewis is dreadful.
Rico should be nowhere near that team, bro.
He's dreadful. He's dreadful. Pep is another one. It's part of his stubbornness. I don't know. He sees Philip Lahm in him or whatever he sees in him. He's poor as a fullback. He's not good enough in midfield either. He's not the answer. Kovacic is out, and Rodri is out, so they don't really have a defensive midfielder. Maybe if he's fit, they might put John Stones in there. It might work in some games. I don't think it's going to work at Anfield.
He won't even last 9 minutes anyway, but man, he'll be off by half time. Always injured.
Diaz, I'm less than convinced with him anyway. But especially now, he's probably just about come back. I can only see one outcome personally. Even Superman seems to be losing his powers a little bit, which is fantastic news. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. That's Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker finally. That for me, when I watched the game against Spurs, that was the most significant moment, which was when I saw Timo Werner run away from him. I thought, hang on. I ain't seen this for years. I've been waiting for this day.
Yeah, you've been calling for 2 years at least, man.
The road out of 30 though, fam. When you think about it,
but this is what I'm saying. But he's been showing no signs, bro. And it's like, because one thing with Kyle Walker, I've said, Pep. I know Pep doesn't like him as a player. Doesn't like him as a player. He's that one season where Cancelo put on a clinic at fullback is like this is what I believe a fullback should do. That's his dream. But Kyle Walker is a cheat code. And when I saw, for example, Real Madrid go to the Etihad a couple of seasons ago and get battered, it was like they were up for it. And then, Vinícius was just neutralized by Walker. And it was like, this is what, when you're trying to build a team to win the Champions League, I think Kyle Walker and Haaland are sacrifices that Pep has made to get his hands on trophies. And it's like, eventually, if I have to come up against Mbappé, if I have to come up against Vinícius, it's like we have Kyle Walker, and these are the guys that are burning us. And then obviously Haaland is Haaland. But really, I prefer maybe Harry Kane or, I don't know, like Robert Firmino or some one of these guys or some of these. He wouldn't mind putting Kyle Havertz up front there instead of...
I'll tell you this right now, bro. Pep, when he's out there, when he's seeing what Kyle Walker's doing, Haaland's doing, bro, he's cheering, bro. But when he goes home, he looks himself in the mirror, bro. He feels sick, bro. This is not his.
Walker can't receive the ball and then go into the central midfield. He can't go and play into the midfield.
Pep he's a football purist. This makes him sick, bro. Guys like Haaland and Walker, bro. He doesn't want them, but he knows he had to just.
Walker can't go and play in centre midfield. Like he can't. Where he likes to invert. Cancelo was going to the middle and he was creating chances.
Game.
Beautiful stuff, and that's why he's been going with that Rico Lewis. But Rico Lewis is no Cancelo.
No, nowhere near it, bro. It's terrible.
So where does City go from here? So you think that Sunday could be the turning point?
I was gonna say Sunday. What's the Liverpool -1?
I mean, I think that one thing I have observed is that the bookies are still have faith in City. So there's value in City. Hence, Spurs being 13-2 just to get a win based on form. For me, those were long. 20-1 to win by more than one goal. I was like, I have to have that. And to be honest, I should have gone bigger than that, obviously, in hindsight. But I thought, okay, this is... If it was a single bet, I might have done. But because it was in an account, I thought, look, just use that to boost it. But... my point is the bookies are still kind. They still have faith in City. They still have belief because in every given game, Feyenoord was still like, there was still like probably like 1-8 to beat Feyenoord. It was seen as the normal City against Feyenoord. So you will probably get decent value on Liverpool winning well still.
You know what? Now I think about it, man. Now I'm thinking. The thing is, maybe it's just the hope in me, the Arsenal hope in me that
it's not even just that. I think it's just a script. Like we've football
it's more the script because if I if I go with my sense and what my eyes see, City got no chance on Sunday. Because even let's look at the Real Madrid-Liverpool game, bro. I don't even think Liverpool even got out of second gear, really, bro. And we know we'll touch on Madrid after that. Liverpool didn't really get out of second gear, bro, and they blew them away, like. So, yeah.
I had Liverpool -1 in that game as well.
That was easy, bro. To be honest with you, that wasn't rocket science, but Madrid are terrible. But yeah, I think everything points towards a Liverpool win. But I'm just saying the game of football can be weird sometimes, man. So
absolutely,
pull it out of the block.
See, they got a puncher's chance at least, but like, you know, I can't see it, and I expect Liverpool to win. I expect Liverpool to win well as well. But what I will say, City have been dangerous going forward. Even in their slump, haven't taken chances against Spurs. Wasted a lot of chances. You know, it's happened again and again. And obviously, people only look at results, but a lot of these results could have been very different. And I know that I'll champion that as a United fan because this is what I've been saying for years. Sometimes, like, and I think, no, trust me. When you look at some of these games, you look at West Ham. You say, Ten Hag lost another match. Like, you know, look at Palace, and I see these things. You know, realistically, the results and the performances are not always aligned. But yeah, Liverpool might be a bridge too far.
Looking at the odds quickly here, Liverpool -1, 11-4. -2, 15-2. And then on the other side, if you want City -1, 6-1.
But Liverpool scoring, bro. They're definitely scoring, bro.
Liverpool -1, 11-4. Those are great odds in an ACCA. If you've got other games that you're more confident on, I think, you know, if you can build if you can build any ACCA that you have where your selections are 11-4. So like you looked at my Spezia one last week, for example, which was a 5-2, which effectively is like 2.5-1. Those are great odds, like for an ACCA, and those are really pushing ACCA up. So 11-4, if you can get one of those in your ACCA, I think that's good value. If you can get two of them in your ACCA, if you can see another Spezia, and then you can flesh that out with a few simpler ones. I'm starting to get a game away now, like, so you know we'll catch that in the Patreon or something.
Well, the game is there to be given, bro, man.
But aside from City,
well, let's move to our other favorite Spanish manager. I'll set the table. I'll let you finish it off, man. But I think, you know, I was convinced, like most people, and that's when you talk about the script of football. You know, I mean, West Ham on form didn't really have a prayer going to St James's Park.
Yeah,
most people. But you know, you just never know. And I was convinced at that point. I think we got to the point where if West Ham lost that game, certainly if they lost it convincingly, I think that would have been it for Lopetegui. But to pull that one out, when he pulled that out when he really, really needed a result, he's bought himself a bit more time, but he's on thin ice.
Very, very thin ice. But and that's why I said about, you know, Pep needing to change something, because like if you keep on doing the same thing, nothing's going to change, right? Lopetegui, whether it's by design, whether it's by it just happened by luck, he changed something against Newcastle. Like he was more, I think the system. So he had Bowen, it was Antonio up top, just doing the. Come on, God bless Antonio, man.
You can't say what he's doing.
If you're watching this podcast, man, I salute you, bro, man. He's been doing this for a long time, working them channels, but getting pushed over. His back must be hurting, but he's still going strong, bro. So I have to rate him, bro.
He's playing what's been officially known as the Heskey role, bro.
Yeah, bro, he's been doing
it's the textbook Heskey role, basically.
He's been water carrying for a long time, but he's doing it so well.
Heskey role.
But he did it superbly well. So Antonio was doing his, you know, being a nuisance, working the channels. You have Bowen on the right, who was drifting centrally as well, which is really, really good.
Yeah,
you had Somerville on the left, which gave them a real nice balance. He was drifting to the middle as well. And what he did was he put Soler in a 10 role. Paqueta was playing like a 6 or 8, kind of next to Souček. Yeah. So that's what. So Paqueta was coming deeper to actually build the play. And I was watching West Ham thinking, hold up. These guys are playing the West Ham way, like there were triangles, but popping it. I was thinking, raw, like these guys are actually balling out. So it was not a lucky win in the slightest. Like they actually played very, very well. Like so, it's going to be interesting.
And they could have won by more. The second half, when we expected the reaction, they were all over Newcastle.
But easily the best West Ham performance all season. Now it's going to be interesting to see, does Lopetegui do that again? Is he brave enough to do that against Arsenal, or does he go with what he's been doing all year, when he's been stinking out the place with Rodriguez and Souček as DMs, and then no one can play the ball from deep? That was the biggest difference this time. Yeah. That they had someone in Paqueta building up the play from deep, so they had triangles, but they were getting the pockets. But Bowen was coming centrally. They were confusing Newcastle, but they didn't even know what was going on, bro. So will he be brave enough to do it against Arsenal? I don't know.
That
Like,
team's crying out for a striker though, because I just think, you know, with the way they play, they need to dominate games more to win them because they don't have a striker, so they can't be out of a game and snatch one as much without having a clinical goal scorer. So they're going to win games by volume, chances, and domination, and they're unlike. I don't know if they're unlikely to do that, but they've had terrible luck with the centre forward position in terms of they made terrible decisions. They've bought Sebastian Haller, didn't work out. Big money, 45 million, didn't work. You know, doesn't have the pace, didn't have the legs for the Premier League. Then they went spent another 40 million on Skamaka, that didn't work. They spent another 30 million on Full Crew, that hasn't worked. It's probably been worse of the three that one so far.
Easily.
As a signing, you know, my boy John Duran was on the table for them. They couldn't close that one in the summer. Couldn't close that. They made bid after bid, didn't get to the 40 million that Villa wanted. That 40 million is gone now. But
I don't even know if Danny's still there, bro. I saw
he's still there, bro. I feel like they're still wheeling at Antonio. It's like sometimes I see him, I think, is this guy ever still? I feel like it's still like we're still doing the same thing. Like,
I salute him, bro.
I said it before. Credit to, no disrespect to Antonio, but he's at the stage now. He should be leading the line for Swansea, bro. He's one of them guys at this stage. Like he's paid his dues. He should be at that stage of his career now, where he's leading the line for one of these, you know, ambitious championship teams or something, you know. And he's earned it, you know. Credit to him. He's earned it. Like, look, the Premier League grind, you know, he's paid his dues now.
He's putting us to shame, bro, which is fantastic. But he's still here, bro. He's still here, still thriving, bro. Still working the channel, bro.
Goals, bro. He's just there, just getting beaten up, bro. It's like, come on, man.
And the thing is, on Saturday, I'll go for my bet later, but on Saturday, bro, I've got him down for foul because he's got, you know, Saliba and Gabriel loves this. He loves this shit, bro. Yeah. So he's gonna be Antonio and him are gonna be battling all day, bro. So I see a lot of fouls between those two on Saturday for sure.
And just lastly, on the managerial front, obviously, change we haven't met since changing the red half of Manchester. So Ruben Amorim has come in, mid-season, fresh ideas. Mixed performances. I wouldn't say that United played well against Ipswich. They played well eventually last night against Bodo, good old friends of mine. But they eventually got a win there, and it was encouraging. Created a lot of chances in the second half. Very wasteful in front of goal, but that was positive. But just generally, what's your take on that and the change in Manchester?
Well, like I said to you before, when I saw Amorim's initial press conference and how he spoke, I said, Rose, man, I think you might have one here, I think you might have one, bruv, because when it comes to managerial, like when it comes to managers, bruv, how they speak, how they command a room, their presence, their confidence, like Amorim, I can just tell, like, he feels like he belongs there. Like he's not suffering no imposter syndrome, but he's come there and said, look, this you might not like what you see, but at least from day one, you're gonna see an idea and man's gonna stick to it. So these are my principles, bruv, and this is the hill that I'm gonna die on, basically. Like, so I have to respect it. Like, so yeah, it's obviously we saw the Ipswich game. I think yesterday was definitely better in terms of more possession. You saw some of the things that he wanted to kind of do. It's obviously, of course, it's gonna take time. He's trying to figure out who's gonna be good for each role. But to be honest with you, like, I think with United fans, they gotta give this guy time, man. I feel like he could be the real deal, like, man. Just give him time, give him patience, let him get his own players through the door. But I think his system, there's going to be some major casualties from the United team. And I don't know what you think, but...
And Taylor is definitely one of them.
Huh?
Marcus.
There you go, bruv. I don't see how Marcus... I don't see how Marcus survives in this, bruv. He can't play 10. He can't play...
To be honest, I think regardless of the system, I think that he's on thin ice at the moment.
No, fair enough.
4-3-3, he might not survive the season.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to get away with another season like last season.
No, it won't. But this system gives him even less room to maneuver. Like, because the 10 roles, the 10 roles are so specific, that doesn't suit Marcus's game. He can't receive the ball, back to goal, tight positions, half spaces. That's not his game. And then the 9 role, we know Marcus Rashford's not a striker. Like,
but the thing is, that's one area where I might slightly beg to differ in the sense that, and not that I don't think his best role is a centre forward, but what I do think is that he's maybe been our best centre forward in recent years still. In terms of the performances he's putting in that role, especially when he scored these 30 goals a couple of seasons ago. A lot of that was from that position as a number 9. And I don't think it's his natural role, but he's got a chance because he's been given a chance by the other 2 strikers there. So if he catches some fight, anyone that catches, if he manages to catch a little bit of form before they do, then he's he might have Amorim might use him in that role because the competition has been underwhelming of late. I mean, obviously, Haaland had a great game last night, but Xerxes hasn't really got going in that role. And obviously, I feel like also with Amorim's idea of the role, I don't think you can't do the false nine sort of thing. You need to be a point, and Xerxes is not a running behind guy. He's a come deep guy. So how are you going to have come deep when you've got 2 10s behind you? So
I called it out first. I told you straight away about that. I said this guy, he doesn't want to score goals, but he's too playful, bro, man.
The thing is, I still kind of beg to like differ about Xerxes because he's had a few poor games recently, but generally I think he's been comfortably better than Haaland so far this season. And I think for me, when I watch games, I've seen him. He's drawn a lot of saves from goalkeepers. For me, one of the first things I see between him and the Haaland, the difference, certainly before Amorim's come and they've been playing there, rotating the number 9, is he seems to get more shots than Amorim and then Haaland. He shoots more. So, and all of this whole service thing is all nonsense to me. Like, he seems to be, how come this one manages to keep getting shots off, find himself in goal scoring positions to even be wasting his shots? Haaland has so many games where he's running around, wrestling with defenders, not impacting anything, no shots, not threatening. Xerxes, at least he's drawn a save. People say he should have scored. Oh, he should have buried that header. He should have. It's like, how come you keep finding shooting situations? So I feel like the sample is too small to say that, because a lot of them have been good saves. So I feel like any given moment, a few of these start going in, the narrative changes, the perception changes immediately, because all it is the difference is goals. Like before the first few games, he was playing well, the link was very well, the link stuff was very well. If you add 3 or 4 goals to that, the whole narrative is different. And at any time, if you're getting a lot of chances, then goals could come. Haaland was worrying me because on average, Haaland will come out, go back in, and no shot. So that is a problem for me. So anyway, between the two of them, both of them have been underwhelming for different reasons. So I think that, Rashford obviously he started through the middle on Sunday and scored a goal. So it's like, oh, that's new. When was the last time one of our number 9s did that? So it's like he might get a little chance in that role because of the competition. But I agree with you in terms of his days look numbered in that role. With Amorim as a whole, I think that, obviously the players, his lineups have been very experimental as well, not only just the formation. So I still think there's a lot more to come in the sense that, as I say all the time, I'm a huge fan of Luke Shaw. You haven't had him back in the 11 yet, but I know that there'll be a big difference. You get Luke Shaw, you get Lenny Euro in that back line, you get Kobe Mainoo in the team, then we might start seeing the best of his idea when you've got the actual personnel in the right positions. But right now, I think he's just trying to give everyone a game.
Yeah, of course. Go figure it out, man. But we'll see. I like him though. I think you got a good manager there, man.
Okay. Just very quickly before we move on to our bets, I think that we had a bit of a Spanish theme earlier, and I think that it would be remiss of us to overlook the troubles of Madrid because and more specifically, I said in the summer, I said this Mbappé thing is not going to work, bro. I don't think it's going to work, and it's been worse than I expected, even.
You know what? You know me, bruv. I'm big on body language, bruv. And dare I say it, bruv? When I watch Kylian Mbappé in the Real Madrid shirt, first of all, I see a shirt that's too big for him. Literally, like a baggy shirt. Like, why is your shirt baggy? Like, I'm saying, like, and then the body language, bruv, is worrying, bruv. He doesn't like when you go to Real Madrid, bruv. It's a very unforgiving atmosphere, bruv, and you have to own it, bruv. Bellingham went there and owned it. Ronaldo went there and owned it. Bell went and owned it. You have to believe that you're the dog's bollocks. Like I'm saying, like Mbappe's gone there, bruv. And I look at his body language on the pitch, and like he's just everyone knows. Like I said to you already, it's Vinícius' team. Like it's Vinícius' team, and he's not even second in command, but it's probably Jude that's after him, like man. And he plays with no confidence. I've never seen Mbappe miss so many chances or just hit it weakly in front of goal. Like, bruv, his confidence is absolutely shot. Now, can he turn it around? Maybe, but not with this current system, bruv. Now that Vinícius is injured, they're relying upon him, and he's not delivering, bruv. So he's got to start turning around.
I mean, it's been said infinitum, but they need a centre forward desperately.
Yeah, he's not a centre forward.
They need a centre forward. They also need to decide what they want to do with their midfield.
Shocking, bruv.
I feel like Ancelotti's trying. He tries 3 different ones every game, just hoping that he stumbles across something. Like, but what is yours?
Camavinga got injured as well.
Yeah, but what is your midfield? Even if everybody was fit, what would he play? I don't think he even knows. He's got who he might want to play based on personnel, thinking I've got to play these guys, these are my guys. But does those three, are they even balanced? Where does if everybody's fit, who does he play in the middle three before we even talk about the front three? So I just think that Madrid have probably unfortunately overcomplicated their squad with some of their signings. They've done a bit too much, been a bit too greedy, trying to get this, push the Galactico vision, and at the expense of balance. People like Goulet and Brahim Diaz, they need to fit some of their qualities into the team. Modric is still getting ruled out at 39 because he's the only one that can do what he does.
Yeah, exactly, lad. He's got no part. Their squad building's been terrible, bro, man. Absolutely terrible.
They are desperate for a quality centre forward. That's what they need. They really need a striker for me, number 9.
Anyway, I'll love to.
I don't see them. I mean, look, they've been here before in the Champions League. Maybe not quite here, but they've been low before and found a way.
Just like Man City. I don't know if they've been this low though, bro, man. This is low to low, bro, man. So I don't know if they can come back from this one. But a couple of players come back. You never know, like, man. But for now, they look like has-beens, bro. For now.
Yeah, I don't see it. But they do also, similarly to the other teams, have a lot of injuries at the moment. Defense, of course. Particularly in their defense.
I hear it. You know what? Let's roll on to this week's bets. Who wants to kick off this time?
I know everyone's got to get technical, so let me get mine out nice and quick, bruv, man. So yeah, same theme. I'm using Paddy. Player to commit 1 foul. I've gone for 8 games, 3 players in each game. And my kind of science behind it is I've just been following the stats, but I'm just going with consistent players each week, seeing what the matchups are, who they're playing against, etc. So this week, it starts off with tonight, Brighton against Southampton. I've gone for Ruta to get 1 foul, Tyler Diblin and Jack Stevens from Southampton to get 1 foul each. Then tomorrow, Crystal Palace against Newcastle, gone for Munoz, Shah and Lacroix. Wolves against Bournemouth, I've gone for Lewis Cook, Cunha and Etnori. And then West Ham game, Mikel Antonio's going to be fighting all day, but so I've gone for him to get a foul. I've gone for Bukayo Saka. He's a weird. Bukayo Saka he's a top fouler, but always fouls, bro. And I thought Emerson as well. Emerson and Saka is going to be an interesting battle, so I've gone for those 2 to foul as well. Chelsea has to win on Sunday. Diego Carlos is very reliable, and then Cucurella and Fofana, very, very hot heads. And then Man United, Everton, I've gone for Tarkowski, Young, and then Bruno Fernandes, good for a foul. Tottenham, Fulham, Solanke, Basuma, and then Reece Nelson. And then to finish off with the Liverpool-Man City game, these guys always foul together in the big games, but McAllister, Gravenberch, and then Harden at some stage is going to get frustrated and he's going to give away a foul. So just common sense. I'll put £12 on that. It gets you 9,800. So yeah, let's see.
For that one, send it to Rose to post on the Twitter Reddit. So.
I like that as well. I think with one of the challenges I find with shots and fouls and things of that nature, especially when they're in each half, is you firstly have to overcome. Firstly, you have to think who's going to start, and then secondly, you have to look at the list of players that are likely to finish the game. So that's why I never have Ollie Watkins on a shot in each half, because you know that Duran's coming in at some point. And
just to confirm, this one that I did there is just a foul. So and also as well, for the viewers, you've got super sub as well. So when I do these fouls, I always think about who's going to come.
You got the super sub. That keeps you in the game.
The super sub has saved me so many times. So for example, last week, or I think when West Ham played Newcastle or whatever, who was it? I had Emerson. He didn't foul. He came off. As soon as I saw Kufau, I was like, yeah, he's definitely fouled him. Within 5 minutes, but he bashed into somebody, got a foul out. So with that
that covers that. But I think with stuff like shots, especially each half, especially because the most substituted players are those players, the attacking players, sometimes the wide players, these players. So you really got someone like Ollie Watkins, you got the first half plus 15 maybe, and that's it for him to get. So it's harder to, the centre halves, they're going to stay on invariably, stuff like that. But yeah, moving on to mine, I did it's not exclusively handicap, but match result and handicap one. I did a couple actually, but one I'll share is an 8-fold. as you know, I've gone quite low on the slip. So if anybody wants to use Sky Bet, which I've used, you can do a lot of scrolling down. The first game kicks off in 15 minutes. So it's in Ukraine. It's Voskla Poltava against Inhulets. I've gone for Voskla to win. Just a match result there. The next games are in the evening. So this is a Friday night game, by the way. So this is for today. Friday night slip. So the next one I've gone for is Excelsior at home to Young Ajax. Basically, I've gone for Excelsior -1. Young Ajax really struggling at the moment. Lost 4 out of the last 5. Lost them quite handsomely as well. So, and Excelsior are, they're doing well. I think they're top of the table. So, there's no rocket science behind that one. Staying in the Dutch Eerste Division, which is a division I typically tend to avoid. I've gone for Camber Leeuwarden to beat Telstar. Well, no, not to beat Telstar. I've gone for +1 away, which means that they just need to win or draw, and I'll get that result, basically. So effectively, +1 means that they start the game 1-0 up. So if it ends 0-0 in real terms, like the game ends 1-0 to them, they win. If it ends 1-0 to them, then they win anyway. They win 2-0. But basically, they start with they're given 1 goal from kickoff. So so that one is like good odds. They've won the last 4 against Telstar. They're in good form. So I'll back them to, that +1. I call it leave the something. And that's the back. But I'm backing them to leave there with something, bro, basically. I've also gone for MN to leave the something against Den Haag. So +1. Then I've gone Sassuolo, reliable guys, good friends of mine. Serie B, I've gone for Sassuolo to beat Regina, who seem to have changed their name, but they ain't fooling me, but they need disguise, bro. They used to be Reggio Audace now, but that's Regina. And basically, I've backed for Sassuolo to beat them away from home. Then I've gone to Poland. I've gone for Lech Poznan, -1 to win. That's a good one. There's a 3-1 odds on that. And then I've gone for Rush Chozo to win at home, -1 as well. And then I've ended it in Belgium with KV Mechelen to beat Kortrijk. KV Kortrijk away from home. So all of that is 311 to 1. I'll put £12 on that. Turns 3,750.
It's not bad. That one as well. Get up on the Twitter and then
I'll share that one on Twitter.
But
just to plug it as well, I think our Patreon is still valid. Like we're going to post all of them on there as well.
Yeah, so
we start using that to get people to subscribe if they want to see the slips. Some of you guys have messaged us on Twitter asking where the slips at. So follow the Patreon for the content.
Yeah, I guess what we'll do, we'll start like a chat in the Patreon, and then everyone could just jump in the Patreon and start having conversations in there, innit?
Indeed.
But on that note, we'll call it time. Anything closing for the weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, but I'm really interested to see how the City game goes on Sunday. But anyway, Arsenal need to do our business, but West Ham are coming to town in good form, which is ironic, like. But let's just get our job done, and then we can sit back and see what happens on Sunday, man.
I think for me, I've had a look at the games. I think that Sunday is the money day. I've been provisionally preparing a slip in my head. But yeah, stay close, guys, man. Stay close to me on Sunday. Stay close to me on Sunday, cause I feel like we might eat 2 Sundays in a row.
The money's there, man. The money's there. Christmas is coming, fam.
I'm gonna make the bird call on Sunday. Don't worry, bro. If the money's there, bro, I'll be there, bro.
I can feel it on Sunday. I've been looking at the games. The games speak for themselves. I like the game. I like days where the games pick themselves in the sense that like there's not, maybe it looks like a dead day. There's only 5. You can't help but pick these 5. Like those are the 5.
Yeah, you ain't got too much. We ain't got too much choice, but when you're forced into it,
these are the real games. Like these are the games. The games speak for themselves, basically. Like it has to be this 5, basically. So
But how Fred rolls, bro. You can't eat together like
Trojan horses.
We gotta stop that, bro, man. We gotta stop that, bro. We gotta break that, bro, man. We gotta eat together once at least, bro.
Yeah, we'll make it happen, man. But until next week, lads. Peace.